morning, everyone. We are the group 2. So, for today, we will be talking about the early Filipino revolts. Cause of revolts. Number 1, our love for freedom and independence. Number 2, abuses of Spanish encomenderos. Number 3, tribute or residence tax. Number 4, forced labor. Number 5, land grabbing by the friars. Number 6, Basi wine monopoly. And 7 is religion. Examples of revolts. First is the Gohey Rebellion of 1744 to 1829. Second is Silang Rebellion of 1762 to 1763. Third is First Pampanga Revolt of 1585. Fourth is Revolt in Cagayan and Ilocos of 1589. Fifth is Sumuray Revolt of 1649 to 1650. The sixth is the Agrarian Revolt of 1745 to 1746. And the seventh is Ilocos Basi Revolt of 1807. And lastly, number 8, Revolt of Apolinario de la Cruz Hermano Pule of 1840 to 1841.
Good morning, everyone. Our topic is all about the early Filipino revolts. Let's begin with the Gohey Revolt in 1744-1829. The revolt of Francisco de Gohey in Bohol was the longest revolt in the Philippines' history. It lasted for 85 years. The Gohey's brother was killed in a duel with a rebel. The Catholic priest refused to give him a Christian burial. The Gohey got angry and led his people in a revolt, and they killed 2 priests in the island. 20 Spanish governor-generals failed to stop this rebellion. In 1827, Governor Manuel Rocafort ordered 2,200 Filipino Spanish troops to attack the Bohol patriots but failed. In 1829, another attack was made. After years of fighting, the patriots were finally defeated. The Gohey died 2 years before the Filipino patriots were defeated. 19 survivors were pardoned and allowed to live in a new villages. Next, the Silangs Revolt in 1762-1763. Diego Silang and his wife Gabriela Silang led these famous revolts in Ilocos. December 14, 1762, Diego Silang proclaimed the independence of his people and made Vigan the capital tree of Ilocos. In May 28, 1763, Diego Silang was killed by his assassin, Miguel Vicos, the assassin who shot in his back. By the way, Miguel Vicos, the friend of Diego Silang, he was the one who killed by his own friend. Diego Silang died in the arms of his wife, Gabriela Silang. Gabriela Silang continued the revolt. She won many battles and she was called Juan of Arc and of the Ilocos. But Gabriela Silang was defeated and executed at Vigan on September 10, 1763.
The first Pampanga Revolt in the year 1585. The abuses of Spanish encomenders or holders of encomenda started this rebellion. Some brave Pampangueno leaders plotted with the people in Manila to enter Intramuros and kill all Spanish officials there. But the plot did not succeed because a native Filipina married to a Spanish soldier reported it to the Spanish authorities. The mastermind were arrested and executed. Revolts against the tribute in year 1589. In the present days, provinces of Cagayan, Ilocos Norte, and Ilocos Sur in 1589, the natives, which include Ilocanos, Ibanags, and others, rose in revolt over alleged abuses by tax collectors, including the collection of unjust taxes. Governor General Santiago de Vara sent Spanish and Filipino colonial troops to pacify the rebels. They were eventually pardoned and the Philippine tax system was reformed.
The Agrarian Revolt was a revolt undertaken between the years 1745 and 1746 in much of the present day Calabarzon and in Bulacan, with its sparks in the town of Lian and Nasubu in Batangas. Indigenous landowners rose in arms over the land grabbing of Spanish friars or Catholic religious orders, with native landowners demanding that Spanish priests return their lands on the basis of ancestral domain. The refusal of the Spanish priests resulted in much rioting. The case was eventually investigated by Spanish officials and was even heard in the court of Ferdinand VI, in which he ordered the priests to return the lands they seized.
The fifth is Somorod's Revolt in 1649 to 1650. Visayan Alcalde's mayor ordered to send men to work in the Cavite naval shipyards. The Visayan men hated this order kay they don't want to leave their homes and families. Next is Sumoroy, a native of Palapag, Samar. Sumoroy is the one who led the armed revolt. During June 1, 1649, he and his men killed the priest. Kay sa una, the church and the state are united ka naghiusa ang kanang simbahan ug ang government. Next is Sumoroy and his men set up a free government in the mountains of Samar. Kay si Sumoroy hate the system of polo or the forced labor. Kay pagsakop baya sa Spaniards sa Philippines kay alipin na ba ang Filipinos nila, so nakuan to ang slavery, so maunang nagbuhat si Sumoroy og free government sa mountains of Samar. During July 1650, Sumoroy was caught alive and executed. So nakahibaw ang Spaniards sa gibuhat ni Sumoroy, so mauto nga nadakop si Sumoroy.
The Basi Revolt in 1807. This was the unusual revolt in the Philippine history. It was all about the love of homemade wine from sugarcane called basi. During 1786, the Spanish government took over the making and sale of wine. They banned people from making wines. The Filipinos hate this order because katong pag-colonize ba sa Spaniards dito sa Philippines, the Filipinos don't have the freedom to do what they want to do. And ang ilahang gusto ba kay they love making wines. So, in September 28, 1807, they rebelled, but they was defeated by superior Spanish power. That's the reason why there's a lot of Filipinos died during that time. Next is the religious revolt of Hermano Puli during 1840 to 1841. Apolinario de la Cruz, or known as Hermano Puli, from Barrio Pandak, Lucban, Tayabas, Quezon, Apolinario started his own religion in Lucban. It was called the Cofradia de San Jose, or Confraternity of Saint Joseph. But the Spanish officials did not allow any other religion, so they banned this religion. Kay katabi ang pagsakop sa Spain diri sa Philippines, ang ilahang ikuan biya nga religion kay katong Catholic baya Catholicism. So sa gibuhat ni Hermano Puli nga religion, there are thousands of Filipinos in Tayabas, Laguna, Batangas, and Manila had already joined it. So, the Spanish officials sent troops to break up the group, but Hermano and his followers took up arms and protected themselves. That's why, during October 1841, at the Alitao near Mount Cristobal, the government troops attacked their camp
and killed many followers including old women and children. But wala na apil si Hermano Pulia dira nga namatay. During November 4, 1841, Hermano Puli was executed in Tayabas. But katong pag nadakpan na si Hermano Puli, that's not the end of the story or the war. Many Filipino soldiers secretly planned to take revenge on the hated Spaniards. The loyalist troops defeated the rebels after a bloody combat. Sergeant Samaniego and 81 followers were shot at the Luneta at sunset on January 21, 1843.
Why revolts failed? There were two main reasons. First is, the Filipinos were not united. Instead of helping each other to oust the Spaniards, the Filipinos fought each other. So, the Spaniards used the Filipinos' lack of unity to continue oppressing them. Second is, there were no national leaders who united the people. There were no Gumburza, Rizal, Bonifacio, or Aguinaldo then. These national leaders only came in the 19th century. Revolts failed during these times because there's no one who has a courage to unite Filipinos to fight against Spaniards to achieve their freedom. They doesn't know the power of unity because they are also blinded with those harassments by the Spaniards to the Filipinos, and as a result, their confidence to participate in revolts have been melted away. Historical values. United we stand, divided we fall. If Filipinos do not help each other to solve their problems, then we will not be able to resolve these problems. These revolts failed because of lack of unity among Filipinos. Today, our country is free and independent, so we must stop fighting and live in peace with one another. If officials abuse their power and oppress people, they will fall from power. The Spaniards who caused these revolts really helped to end the Spanish rule in our country. The Filipinos never stopped fighting for the freedom and rights. Even if the early revolts failed, the Filipinos exploded in a revolution that finally toppled the Spanish government in the Philippines.